Hey everyone, Tony D with another hot take. This time on Bernie Sanders. Man, Bernie winning Nevada. Is it a shocker? Not really. Bernie was going to win this, just Nevada. But he's not going to win. I don't think he's going to win the Democratic candidacy. Because number one, most regular Democrats don't support socialism. They've teased it. They've played around with the idea. A couple of the ideas that sound very lefty, but most Democrats, roughly 75%, don't support Bernie or his policies. If you look at the numbers, Bernie's polling, at his base, which is about 25%. And in some states that turns into more, or in some states it turns into less. He's going into South Carolina. Do you know how many religious people and military families live in South Carolina? Most of them are Republican. The 15 Democrats that are going to have to vote, even they are fairly religious and, what's the word? I guess more traditional. So I sincerely doubt they're going to vote for a guy who is pretty much a communist, all in except in name. So this is Biden's chance to finally take a state, which he desperately needs to consolidate everybody around him. That's what the neoliberals need. They need a guy who's going to go, and it should have been Biden. Under normal circumstances, Biden would have just ran away with it. And I think to some degree he thought he would, which is why he was sort of so flippant and not campaigning very hard. Now he's finally got his butt in gear. And I think, really, he's kind of more worried about Bloomberg than Bernie. But after that debate, I don't think he really has much to worry with Bloomberg. I mean, he kind of, screwed the debate so badly. I think the optics on it are that, oh, yeah, Bloomberg is in over his head. So what can we expect? I think what you're going to expect in South Carolina is Bernie coming in like second or third, with probably Biden coming in first. And keep in mind too, Biden he was originally the senator from Delaware, which is close-ish to Delaware in South Carolina. I mean, it's not next to it, but it's a little closer than, say, South Bend, Indiana, I think. Yeah, I think Delaware's closer than South Bend, Indiana, where Buttigieg is from and most of the other guys are from. I think there would be a little bit of resentment, actually, towards Bernie Sanders in South Carolina. He's just not... He's everything that most... religious military people are just not really for. Doesn't mean you can't be a Democrat. It just means they don't want to be a socialist. And that's what Bernie is. There's so many Bernie bros. Bernie bros, you really got to calm down. You're going to lose this thing. You might not, but you probably will. I mean, there's always a chance you're going to win simply because, Biden, he could drop dead. I mean, I don't mean anything against the guy, but that is a possibility. He's very old. So is Bernie. I mean, that could happen to Bernie, and then, that completely changes everything. Not that I wish it on either one of them. I absolutely do not. But the thing is, most of the Democrats aren't socialists. They don't support socialism. And Bernie can say all day, well, this is democratic socialism. It's not really socialism. Good luck selling that. I mean, yeah, you got some Elizabeth Warren supporters who I guess are buying into that. And probably, Elizabeth Warren, who is she going to support when she finally bows out? I can't see it being Michael Bloomberg, obviously, but she strikes me as kind of a, someone who would basically say and do anything to get ahead. So maybe she would. I don't know if they're going to crown Bloomberg at this point because he did so poorly. It's hard to imagine they could even, stand up to Trump for even like a 5 minutes after that debate performance, even later when he finally sort of found his feet. Buttigieg would be the Democrats' best hope, I think. I mean, he checks off a lot of boxes and he presents well. Maybe if Biden convinces Buttigieg to be his VP and says, listen, I'll do a 2 to 3 year stint on my first term and I'll let you, and we'll pass the torch like 2 to 3 years in. You'll be the president and then you could run as the incumbent for a second term. Now, who knows, politicians are very ambitious. He may not even go for that deal. He may even say, no, I'll be your VP. So then I can run for president in the second term. You don't run. I'll run like in your stead. Yeah, that would work. I think that would work for him, assuming they could win and beat Trump, which I don't think either one of them could. I don't think any of the candidates could beat Trump. But I think it's obvious that the DNC has realized that Bernie would just get absolutely stomped by Trump. There's so much material for him to use. And whether Trump goes with, I'm going to scare everybody about Bernie, or I'm just going to make Bernie look like an idiot. I mean, there's just so much footage to choose from. Project Veritas, all his wacky supporters talking about gulags and how great they are, talking about re-educating Trump supporters and, how communism is great, how they're Marxist and Leninist and, all that stuff. It's going to freak people the F out. It's going to be everywhere. You want to talk about Bernie's quotes? My God, he has 50 years of horrible quotes. I mean, the only thing Bernie really looks good at, if you take from his past, is that he marched for civil rights. Good for him. That was a good move. And there's pictures of him. And he looks great. But when you talk about Bernie coming back from the Soviet Union and praising it, you're actually you're gonna see that footage in a Trump commercial. My God, you wouldn't even have to say anything. You just have to just put those quotes in, and then at the end of it say, "I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message." And people are gonna go, "What the f?" And Bernie's gonna have to come out. Well, that was many years ago, and I've totally retracted that. Blah 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 blah. Which he really hasn't, to my knowledge. But who knows? Who knows with Bernie? I don't think even Bernie expected to get this far, and I don't think he expects to get the nomination. I think the only way he could get the nomination is if by some miracle he got so many votes that the DNC would be afraid not to nominate him. Like, they would have a riot on their hands. But then again, they kind of did that before, and people went a little bit bananas. Maybe they're just willing to weather the storm and just say, nah, Bernie's not going to win. Let's just change the rules and pick a different guy. So you got the superdelegates, and that's the reason they got them, is so they can overrule everybody. You reap what you sow, Democrats. You created the superdelegates so you could, thwart the will of your own people. And at the same time, you're talking about getting rid of the Electoral College, but you don't want Bernie Sanders, who won the popular vote, in your caucus. So a lot of mixed messages there. Good luck sorting them out. If I were a Democrat now, I'd just be beside myself. I mean, I don't know who I'd be voting for. I guess Tulsi would have been my candidate, and I'd be like, oh man, I got nobody to vote for. But I mean, this is it just gets worse and worse every day for the Democrats. And now we got the virus coming in. And now people are starting to talk about how the virus might change the voting situation. Who knows where we're going to be come November if this virus hits. Hopefully, the virus is going to be cured, or it won't get here. And, I don't know. I thought it would get here much quicker. Now it seems to be in the States, maybe, because they brought in some of the people from the cruise ship, but they kept them under quarantine. Maybe the quarantine worked, but then again, you had the woman in San Diego who got out for 2 days, and then they brought her back, and they realized she still had the virus. So if some more cases start springing up in the United States, that's it. There'll be no way because, again, 1 to 3 weeks, say 2 weeks for incubation period, that's a long time. And during that time, so if only one person, just one person got infected from, say, the San Diego lady, just one person, he's running around for a week and a half before he shows any signs, goes to the doctor, he's like, oh man, I'm really sick. What's wrong with me, doc? And that's assuming he even gets tested for coronavirus, which he probably won't. He could be misdiagnosed. They could say, oh, you just got the flu, just go home, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, he's infected everybody at the doctor's office, everybody. So I think we're all going to get sick. But hopefully the thing will mutate and won't be that bad, or it'll mutate and burn out, or maybe the heat will come and just kill it. I don't know. May you live in interesting times. I mean, here we are. Very interesting times. A little too interesting.